Well, everyone, I was wrong about the Helldivers 2 situation, because we talked about it on Friday, right as all of this was breaking and before it developed over the weekend. And so as of Friday, my stance was the Helldivers 2 drama, like review bombing and stuff, right as it started happening, I was like, it's a little silly because we've known about this since launch. It was a temporary variance that they granted for server stability and stuff. But we've known you would need to connect a PSN account for a while, so to freak out about it if you live in like the US, in my view, was just kind of silly. It's like, it takes 5 minutes to make an account. It's just what they do. Where there was a serious problem was for the people that lived in countries where you can't make a PSN account, because Sony still sold the game to people and took their money. But my stance was like, there's no way Sony will make this extremely difficult. Like, there's no way that they put up a fight for an entire weekend, doubling down, delisting the game. There's no way they would do that. Surely they'll just walk it back pretty quickly for those people at least. But that's exactly, I mean, they did precisely the opposite of what they should have done. Sony all weekend was digging their feet in further and further and further. They even doubled down and delisted the game in 177 countries and territories that can't access the PSN or PlayStation Network. And it seemed like they basically sold people the game, and then once they required them to log into the PSN, if they lived in a country where you couldn't do that, you just couldn't play, couldn't access the game anymore. People contacted PlayStation's customer service and asked them, oh, well, what should I do? Because I live in a country where you can't make a PSN account, but you're telling me for this thing I already bought and own, I need a PSN account. And Sony's own customer service reps were telling them to make accounts saying they lived in another country, which is against PlayStation's own TOS. And I understand some people say that, like, well, I've done that for years. It's very common where I live. I get that it's very common, but it's kind of like one of those unspoken rules. And it's unspoken because it breaks PlayStation's terms of service. Like, it's against the rules. They can ban you permanently and delete all of your account data if they catch you doing that. But their own reps were telling you to do it, which is amazing. It shows that they really had no idea the consequences of these actions. And to me, it's one of those examples of how, like, there probably was an executive that just said, no, we need the numbers boosted for PSN accounts, so just require everybody to make a new account, and did not think about any of the problems. Oh, Steam delisted, I see people mention. Well, it's because, like, the game would be unplayable if you were not able to make the account. But I appreciate the correction. It's Steam that delisted the account, or the game listed in those territories and countries, not necessarily Sony. It's because of Sony's policy that they had in place, but it is Steam that technically delisted it. But over the weekend, people were like losing it, minds melting. The game at one point got to like 500,000 total reviews. 270,000-ish were from this whole like weekend period of people just mass downvoting the game, being like, this is like ridiculous. You are presumably selling people the game and then locking them out of it. And just all told, it's just a mess. But PlayStation at 10 p.m. last night posted an update, and they said, Helldivers fans, we've heard your feedback on the Helldivers 2 account linking update. The May 6th update, which would have required Steam and PlayStation Network account linking for new players and for current players beginning May 30th, will not be moving forward. We're still learning what is best for PC players, and your feedback has been invaluable. Thanks again for your continued support of Helldivers 2, and we'll keep you updated on future plans. We're sorry. We're sorry. I don't know why it would have taken them this long. Like, all of this drama, all of this goodwill burnt just for some more email addresses on their list. Like, it's crazy. It's crazy. But at the end of the day, it seems like they made the right decision, which is Good. I never would have thought it would take them this long. I thought by end of day Friday, they probably issue an update and they're like, yeah, so we realized this was going to lock people in various countries out. We probably should have realized that ahead of time, but yeah, we'll walk it back. I never thought they would put this, like they would fight this for so long, but they did. I expected Sony to be a bit more competent, but there we go. It took this many reviews. It took this for them to be like, oh, maybe we shouldn't. The other lesson is that PlayStation gamers don't tend to put up with the same crap, it seems, that console players have grown accustomed to. Because I think like with a lot of console players, there might be just some like, oh, well, whatever. PC gamers don't tend to respond that way. However, this immediately got people wondering, well, what about some other games? Because there's rumors of like a PlayStation launcher coming to PC. There's rumors of Sony basically doing their own, like whether they delist on Steam or whatever is currently unclear. I think it would be a huge blunder if they tried to do this. But there's been rumors and speculation also that Sony's going to come out with their own launcher and future games will only release on their launcher, which we all saw, like the people that like freaked out when they were just bringing games to the Epic Game Store launcher, which is, I'm sure, already way better than anything that PlayStation has put together. Because as we've seen for the last like 5 years, every time a big company tries to do their own launcher, it's not easy to do. It's surprisingly difficult to do a good launcher, but companies keep trying to do it. So whether Sony ends up doing that themselves remains to be seen, but it would not shock me at all, especially given the current interim CEO is obsessed with margins. By his own words, he's obsessed with margins. And Steam takes 30% off the top of everything that's done on Steam. And for them to just make their own launcher, they're probably like, oh, well, we could just do that and then make way more money. Easy peasy. It's basically like a 50% increase in revenue just by cutting Steam's 30% cut. So we should just do that. And I think they will learn the hard way that that's the case. But in addition to that, people ask, well, we know of another game that's coming very, very soon to PC, and that is Ghost of Tsushima. That's coming. What is that going to look like? Is that going to require a PSN login? And Sucker Punch, eyeing the Helldivers 2 backlash with a nervous flop sweat, which I've never heard somebody refer to it as a nervous flop sweat, but I kind of like that term, a nervous flop sweat, for like when a company is worried their game's gonna flop, which is just funny. A nervous flop sweat. They assured players that Ghost of Tsushima won't need a PSN login. Wow, for single player, which is better than I was braced for. I was like, no, they're just gonna, sorry about Helldivers 2, we're gonna require it from day one for other games. And it seems like they will for this game if you're going to do any of the online stuff. In case you're not familiar with Ghost of Tsushima, it is primarily a single player game, but it does have a multiplayer mode as well. What's it called? Legends? Yeah, Legends Online Multiplayer Mode. It says, just so you're aware, a PSN account is required for Legends Online Multiplayer Mode, and to use the PlayStation overlay, it is not required to play the single player game. And like, I'm glad they're bringing the multiplayer mode to PC for one, but I would fully expect Sony continues trying to push for this as time goes by. I think they're just going to be a little bit more discreet about it. So I don't know if this will blow up as well. I know right now some people are disconnected. Other people were saying that the types of people that are playing Ghost of Tsushima 2 are probably not the types to lose their minds over like account connections and stuff. I don't know if that's the case, but yeah, I think they're going to try it again. Because whenever a big corporation, you know, is like, we're learning. It's like, are you though? are you though? Like, for me personally, as I said on Friday, I personally don't find it a very big deal to just connect an account. Do I like it? No. Would I prefer if it's not there? Yeah. Just like with all these games, like if I could play, what was I trying to play? It was, the example I used on Friday was like LA Noire. You know, you boot up LA Noire, and even though it's like a 2011, I think, game, you still have to make a Rockstar account, and I can never remember the password or what email I used for the Rockstar account, but you still need it for some reason. I don't like that. I would prefer it if that were not part of that game and you just hit play and the game works. But is it enough of a speed bump for me to get like really upset about it? No. Now, if that was locking people who already bought the game out of being able to play it in various countries, yeah, then that would be a major problem. And maybe that is the case that I just haven't heard about. But just for me personally, an account connection is not like a major anti-consumer move. And to call it that, I think is a bit over dramatic. What is anti-consumer is to sell somebody a product and then take away access to that product for reasons beyond their control. That is anti-consumer, and that is what was going on with Helldivers 2, which is why I think it's much more reasonable for people to have been very upset about it. He took my thing.